So, you know, like I wanted to kind of start off with like, you know, we've been friends for a long time, man. It's kind of crazy, like how long we've known each other. Like we didn't really get into it last time of like the first time you were on. Just like
it was in 2018.
Yeah, that was in 18.
Yeah, I was looking through the archives last night, actually.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But what's wild is like we went to like a technical school together, like in high school, and like I remember seeing you every once in a while because like you were friends with Taylor, who was in my class, and so like I remember like I think it was where did I first see you? Like I know that it was at a Necronaut show, but what was that one place?
I don't know if it was at a Necronaut show.
Oh yeah?
I feel like I saw you just from like hanging out with Dale. Like he just introduced us.
What was that one place that was like near the Palo?
The Buddha Lounge.
Buddha Lounge.
Yeah.
I think that's where like I was like officially like introduced to you. Because I think you were at a Buddha Lounge show.
I was at a couple of them.
For the Necronauts.
But that's where and when. So I basically met Billy first. Okay. And then, of course, Billy, you know, he was older. Right. And then naturally I met Dale and
who we're talking about is Billy and Dale Goodman from the Necronauts. I mentioned them a lot. Like they've been mentioned before on like Luster's episode. You know, they've been mentioned multiple times.
Yeah.
So
yes, the brothers Goodman.
Yeah. So yeah,
so that would have been.
So you met Billy first,
Well, I talked to Billy first. Is really what it was, and then we went out and we were like, because I was like totally blown away by their band, right? And you know, he was like, "Hey man, come out to the parking lot, we'll chit chat." Yeah. Or whatever. And I was like, all right, cool. And then that's when Dale came out. He's like, hey man, this is my brother Dale, and then this is, you know, Andy. Yeah. You know, Andy shy, like he always is, or was. But you know, obviously, me and Dale being the same age. Right. And, you know, I had a lot more in common. Yeah. The relationship kind of
went in that direction with the band.
Yeah.
Because it's just, yeah.
But like, Billy never let me live it, or never let me forget that. Like he was always like, you know, I met you first. Oh yeah. I was like, yeah, I know, dude. Well, dude. But you were also like 4 years older than me. Not that matters. Right.
Man, I gotta get them on the show. Like I've been trying to get Dale, but Dale's just like, I don't know. Like I don't really have a story idea. And I'm like, dude, you do. Like it's not that difficult. But anyways. We've known each other for a while.
Yeah, a long time.
And
since the early 2000s.
Yeah. And we've been through some shit together. Yeah. Yeah. Like we partying. Some partying. Yeah. Which was, you know, it's been fun.
It was fun.
Yeah. Like, dude, we both settled down, you know? We had to. Yeah. So, but I just kind of wanted to maybe talk about some of the crazy times. Just like, I don't know. Like, I loved your place on, like, Priest and, wasn't it University?
My apartment?
Yeah, your apartment. Those were some great times. And like, that was awesome. When you like let me like basically live with you for like a week, because you remember I took that online. Oh no, I was working at
and you didn't want to go.
Yeah, I was taking class at Phoenix College to like cover like
and you were working at the UPS out there.
Yeah.
Or
no, I wasn't working at UPS that time. I think I actually took like a week off from UPS, or maybe that was...
Yeah, you were on vacation?
I was on vacation. And then, like, it was just so cool that, like, you know, I would go to school, and then, like, I'd kind of come back, and then we'd just, like, hang out and stuff. And then, and so, technically, it was kind of like you were my last roommate.
Yeah, I guess...
You know, for that week.
Yeah, right.
You know, because like after that, then I like moved to Phoenix to be closer to the school, and then like I ended up, you know, transferring hubs at UPS, and then that was a whole nightmare. And but man, I just remember that week of like just hanging, watching movies, and like
I think that was the week we watched Hostel 2.
Yeah, I think we also watched Tusk with Elmo.
We watched Tusk with Elmo?
Yeah, we watched Tusk with Elmo. Elmo Kirkwood from the Meat Puppets, which once again, like, I've known him for a long time.
Yeah,
you were the one to introduce me to him because I
introduced him to everybody.
Like, because you guys were at the
we went to high school together.
You were at the Henry Rollins show, Rollins Band.
Nita's Hideaway.
Nita's Hideaway.
Yeah.
And I went to that show with my ex-girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And I think her dad was with us too.
Her dad or your dad?
Her dad was with us.
That's hilarious, man.
Yeah. I remember I ran into you and you're just like, hey.
So we had known each other by then.
Yeah.
Okay.
We already knew each other.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was so funny. Like, you were like, hey, like, is this your girlfriend? And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, oh, who's the old guy? And then like I was like, that's her dad. He drove us here. He also wanted to see Rollins Band. And you were like, all right. And then you were just like, oh, this is my buddy Elmo. And then that was like the first time meeting him, and then the rest is history after that. But
I remember Elmo was the first one that I told about the Necronauts.
Yeah.
I remember it's kind of funny because, you know, Elmo is a hard person to impress when it comes to music.
Yeah. Well, the Dive Bombers, man.
One of the greatest bands, but like...
No, they were great. Like, that was a great punk rock band, man. Like, they
were the best.
Like, I remember when you showed me that album, and I was just like, dude, they came up with that in high school? Like, that's pretty fucking great.
14 and 15 years old.
Yeah.
They were playing music like that. That's fucking mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that there's not other kids that age around the world who can do that.
Right.
But that is not... That's rare. That is... Yeah. Like, I remember when I was with them during the, you know, very carnal part of that band.
Yeah.
It was really hard not to be, like, completely, like, obsessed.
Right.
And it kind of, like... I never really kind of in life had, like, a pride in my friends.
Yeah.
Until kind of that time.
Right.
Where it was like, holy shit, my friends are, like, total badass motherfuckers.
Right.
Like, better than anyone at this than I've ever seen.
Right. That
most people, you know, could probably even ever, you know, have seen on their own or whatever. Whatever.
And that's how I felt with the Necronauts, man, because I was there.
Same here. Because not only was it different.
Yeah.
I'd never heard anything like that. I was like, whoa, dude, this stuff is... Not only that, but when you see Andy play live and you're that young...
Right.
Like, that kid was a freak.
Right.
A freak.
Yeah. And
you're just like, how the fuck... How are you doing that?
Right.
You're playing like you should be like a 60-year-old jazz master. Like, that doesn't even make sense.
Well, it was wild, too, because, like, with Andy... Because, you know, like, Andy was like my second best friend.
Yeah.
You know, because I had Dale.
Well,
I had Dale, and then and I got to see him become a great drummer. You know, and like the very beginning, like of not knowing how to play drums.
Right.
And then like his brother teaching him how to play drums.
Yeah.
And then that was a process, like, you know, that was a process. And I was there. I was like I was his cheerleader, man. Like, I was rooting.
Yeah, so it was actually we kind of have like a similar past.
Yeah, like, like we were the roadies.
It's a bummer that you didn't get to see
the fans, the number one fans.
The Dive Bombers back in the day.
I know, man. Like, it's a bummer because, like, you didn't show me the Dive Bombers until, like, later.
It's just that one EP, dude.
Yeah.
To this day, I listen to it at least once a month.
Yeah.
They were originally called Mr. Boot.
I like that.
Yeah.
But Dive Bombers is awesome name.
Yeah, you know where that came from, right?
Where?
It's a sex position. Which now I think it's called a pile driver.
Okay.
But it was originally called a dive bomber.
Okay.
Won't really explain it.
We don't have to do that.
But it was like, I can't remember if they said they saw it in a porno or something like that, or I can't remember, but that's what it was. I remember their first sticker. God, I wish I still had this, and I wish I still had like a shirt.
Yeah.
And I think Ira was the one that actually originally drew it, but it was like this dog, this like long dog, not like a wiener dog, just a long dog, and it had like this classic missile-looking bomb shoved in its ass, and it was just such a funny, and it just said Dive Bombers on it.
Yeah. No, I've seen that sticker.
Oh, you have? So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so it was just... I just remember thinking that was like the funniest thing ever, and now I can't even, you know.
Yeah.
I wish I had that.
No, I just kind of wanted to touch upon the times like of just like going to local shows and like being kind of like you know, mesmerized by like the talent that we were kind of seeing and like the shows and how much fun that was. You know, like there was definitely like this crazy energy that like you couldn't like get enough of, you know?
Yeah. I mean, even I missed out on stuff because, you know, a lot of those guys were going to see stuff at places that were already closed by the time, because I was going to shows really young, not just Dive Bomber shows, but I was going to the Nile really young. I was going to the Green Room really young. I was going to Boston's really young. We're talking where these shows had to be like all ages, right?
Uh-huh.
But like there was places like the Limelight that was already gone by the time I got into it. Tempe Bowl, which was like the mecca of punk shows back then. I mean, like people like Marcus Labonte remember these kind of places. Josh Halverson, they used to go to these. I mean, that was even before my time.
Yeah.
Which is weird because, well, it's not weird.
Well, Halverson's actually like a year younger than us, but like he was kind of getting.
Well, so is technically Elmo and Brian and Ira.
Yeah. So because like, and you're a year older than me, but.
I am?
Yeah. You were, I think so.
Were you born in 83?
Yeah. No, you know. You just turn older sooner. I guess. I don't know.
You're an old guy first.
You're an old guy first.
Yep.
You fogey.
Yep.
You old folks. But
those times were an absolute blast.
No, it was insane, man. Like we were.
I miss it so much.
Yeah, like just like that's how I'll always remember music. You know.
I kind of wish.
Like it's kind of hard to listen to music for me now. Like I listen to like a lot more podcasts and stuff. I just started getting into Spotify and just started. I just started listening to like old music that I used to be into and stuff, and like you know, it brings back all these like crazy memories and stuff, and you know, like I think too that the reason why I don't listen to music as much because it like kind of makes me sad because like music like meant so much to me. And then now, like, I can't even really listen to it.
Well, you know, you kind of gotta. So, you know, they say that everything you listen up to you're 21 is what you basically listen to for the rest of your life.
Right.
So what you have to do is you have to kind of make an effort. Like you have to tell yourself to keep progressing, and not only the way you listen to music, but obviously the variations of music that you listen to.
Right.
And, you know, that's pretty important. I try to do that as much as I can, because I agree with you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like when I was saying, like, it's very hard to impress Elmo.
Yeah.
Because he was already tired of rock and roll when we were kids.
Yeah.
Like, that's why he got into hip-hop so young. That's why he's, like, way more into hip-hop than he is, like, most guitar, drum-driven music.
Right.
Because to him, he's fucking heard it all. There's nothing new about the American standard band anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody's played every note you could possibly play. Maybe not every variation of every note you could possibly play, but for the most part, everything rock and roll wise has been listened to.
And that's kind of how I feel too.
Yeah.
You know?
I think everybody does, really.
You know, like there really isn't anything that like kind of grabs me anymore, you know? Like sure, like I find certain things fascinating, and then like, you know, I kind of want to see it live, like how I was happy to see Dead Cross, like that like another super band that like fucking Mike Patton made, and that was really cool, and that was like probably the last show that like really meant a lot to me, you know. And that was like a year and a half ago, probably almost 2 years ago. And I saw The Damned too, and that was really good. But I don't know, man, it's just like tough. Like I wanted to see, did you hear about this? That Michael Graves is playing.
He's coming here.
He's coming here.
Yeah, on Halloween. Yeah,
Halloween night to do.
I kind of want to go.
Yeah, I want to go too, man. Like just, and that would be like full circle.
He's playing songs from those two albums.
He's calling it like the American
Monster Tour.
American Monster Tour. Yeah, where he's only playing songs off of like those two albums.
Isn't that hilarious? Just one each title from both albums. Yeah, American Monster.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah, know? Totally. Because you know exactly what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And that it would come around full circle for me, because like that was my first show, was the Misfits and GWAR.
Same here. Well, not my first show, but
you were there.
Oh well, yeah, dude. So many. I've had sex with girls that were like, oh, I was there too, and I'm like, that's mind blowing.
Yeah, dude, it's insane. Like every time
everybody was there.
Yeah, like that's how I connected with people. Sometimes was just like,
I remember drinking in the parking lot that night.
Yeah, I remember Moose getting like kicked out of the show before he even got into the show.
Dude, I saw Moose get punched out once before. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah. Rest in peace,
not at
Moose.
denial.
But
oh shit.
Yeah, he died. I don't know.
I think he OD'd, didn't he?
Yeah, probably.
That's depressing.
Yeah.
I heard he's becoming like a total like fucking neo-Nazi.
Was he?
Yeah.
Like before he died?
Yeah.
Which I think he died. I'm not even sure. I think he died. Like I actually, I saw him one time before.
I know. I heard
and that
he was living in a mobile home in California.
Okay.
That he bought like a mobile home and was just
He may still be. That's so fucked up. But anyway.
Well, if not, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Moose. If you are dead. I don't know. But, yeah, man, I just kind of wanted to touch upon that. Like, I just thought that's something that we both relate with, was just seeing, like, live music. So much live music.
Yeah, you know what kind of ruined it a little bit?
What?
Or at least I kind of quasi blame now. And I wish... Now that I've been sober for as long as I have, I kind of sometimes think that drinking ruined that
for you.
Not the, not really finding new music to really get into,
right?
But just how great it felt to be young and to be going to those shows, and like how kind of like life affirming that was.
Right.
And then you start to party. Yeah. And even though that's like its own kind of fun or whatever, right, it kind of almost takes away.
Well, because it gets to a point where you're looking forward to the after party more than the show.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Which, that sucks.
Yeah.
It's such a terrible thing.
Yeah, because it used to be like where... Like, I was pretty timid about drinking, you know, because I was just like, oh, we got to drive, or, oh, you know, I don't know where I'm going to end up. I don't want to, you know. But then it got to, like, where I was like, I don't fucking care, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, like, I'd be like, well, I'm with my buddies. We'll figure it out, like, together. You know, we started enabling the whole situation.
Well, plus the innocence is gone.
Yeah. Yeah, because we were, you know, young and like just having a beer was like, oh yeah, we're having a beer.
Yep,
it's crazy. But now, like, once we reached a certain age and like all bets were off, you know, like that. Yeah, it just kind of ruined it. Like,
yeah, and your whole life is like one night. A bunch of nights just melded into one.
Yeah.
As opposed to all those great singular memories of every show. Like at the Misfits show, I remember us drinking in the parking lot and getting buzzed.
Right.
But I don't remember getting fucking shithouse or like then going to a bar and proceeding to get drunk.
Right. Or then going to somebody's house and just being like, well, they have a couch, so I can get shit hammered.
Yeah, right.
You know? Right. You know? So
that was probably, it was more of me.
But dude, I did it too, man. Like,
no, I mean like Ira like went home and still got fucked up. You know what I mean? Whereas I went home and went to bed or whatever. But
right. But or we would decide on whose house we're going back to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that was another thing. You hung out at people's houses.
Yeah. And then it was like, and then it started getting to the point where you're like going later and later to the show. Like, you guys are just like, I don't want to fucking stand.
Yeah.
I don't want to wait around.
Yep.
I just want to fucking get a couple drinks in, see the headliner, and fucking get back to somewhere.
Yeah.
And, like, hopefully meet a girl. I don't know. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I found myself going to shows by myself a lot because, especially then.
Yeah.
Well, like seeing all the show, but most people like trying to, and not to out people, but like trying to go to shows with like Cindy.
Oh yeah.
She'd be like, "Why do you want to go so early?" And I'm like, "Cause I want to go to the show." Like,
just see.
I'm bored. That's what I want to go do. Like, I don't want to wait till 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
To get there, like that's just.
But if you think about it, like even at 11 o'clock, that's 3 hours.
Well, plus if the bands are total shit.
Right. Yeah. But you never know. Sometimes, like, that's what's so crazy about shows. That's also another thing. Where I like sometimes the headliner is the best part.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man.
Or the worst part.
Mostly the worst part. Like, you're always taking a gamble with the first couple bands, but you back then, like, I look forward to it, because you wanted to be exposed to whatever was going on.
Yeah. It was the same concept of going to a record store and being like, oh, that's got a cool cover.
Yeah.
I'm going to check that out.
Like, before we could look it up.
Yeah, or listen to it.
Just real instantly.
Yeah.
Like
I found some of my favorite bands in life doing that shit.
Yeah, just the mystery of it.
Yep.
So, well.
Good times.
Yeah, good times, man.
Good times.
So,
oh, go ahead.
So you have a pitch for me?
I do.
All right.
I wasn't sure if you were going to get to it.
I just wanted to do some small talk before.
No, I hear you.
And touch upon like some stuff that we both relate to and like that we could share.
It makes for great.
Yeah.
Makes for great cast talk.
Yeah.
Well, so this is pretty much definitely something I wanted to get your take on it. Okay. Maybe toss it around a little bit. So this would be, I mean, of course, like anything we talk about on here, it could be any avenue, really, I guess. But I imagine it kind of, not like a children's book, but something kind of similar to that. Okay. But like almost like a story that not only a child could grasp the concept of, but also that a parent would have as much interest and fun reading it to a child. Okay. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, like a picture book or... Kind of like how people, even like adults, love Harry Potter, but kids do too. Right. So, so young adult. Yes, basically. You know. But also at the same time, it's kind of simplified enough to where even like a 6-year-old, if you read it to a 6-year-old, they would kind of understand, because it's a positive story. Okay. Idea, basically. So I got the idea from Brian Dellinger, who is a common friend between us. Yeah. His son, his youngest son, you might have remembered this, but about a couple weeks ago, he posted a picture of a colored drawing that his youngest son did. Oh, okay. And it was a brain. And he said, this is Lyndon's version of a brain. Okay. And it actually looks like a brain. And it's a very cool picture. Like, I was like, and he's pretty young still. Yeah. He's, I don't know, like 4, maybe, something like that. So how old's his older son? He's gonna be 6, or is 6. He's either gonna be 6, wow, or is 6. He's already in school and stuff. Yes. Wow. Yeah, he's in kindergarten. Okay. Yeah. So, and it actually like looks like a brain. Right. And it's all different colors. Do you remember seeing that at all? Dude, like Are you guys even friends with him? Are you? Because I know sometimes you guys go back and forth. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Anyway. So I remember I commented on it, and I said, "Oh," because it was kind of like I looked at it and I was like, "Oh, that's actually really, really fucking neat." Yeah. And I was like, "Oh man, that'd be awesome to have that brain." And then I was like, and then I, along with that same comment, I also wrote, "Wouldn't the world be a better place if people kind of not necessarily saw the world through children's eyes?" Right. But basically, I started to get this idea that was forming because of that what if there was a concept or a story where it literally is that. So it would be like how much better the world would be if everything conceptual was through not only the mind of a child, but through the creativity of a child. So the idea really is that, and sorry to say this for any religious listeners, but I want to try to keep this as much away from God and miracles as possible. Right. Maybe something a little bit more supernatural, I think, cosmic, whatever. So I was thinking about a story idea where there's like a connection between a person and a child, and basically whatever the child conceives, creativity, creation-wise, whether similar to what his son did, right, manifests itself into reality with an actual person, like an adult. All right. So the concept of the story would be like there's like a guy who would be our age, maybe a little bit older, whatever, totally down in life. He's got not necessarily mental illness, but, he's probably manic depressive.
Right.
Maybe down on his luck, marriage didn't work out.
Right.
Job didn't work out, something like that. And then basically, and this is where it kind of gets a little iffy, but I've got a lot of different ideas for it. But so somehow there becomes a connection between the child and the guy.
All right.
Now, I was thinking that maybe something like that's kind of like reincarnation, because reincarnation doesn't necessarily have to be a religious bound concept.
Right.
So I was thinking maybe that kind of like along that avenue.
Okay.
But basically, whatever the kid comes up with becomes reality for the guy.
Okay.
And his life starts to improve and becomes almost like, not only improves, but he like starts to become an individual in the world that like there's almost maybe like even like a hero aspect, like this kid unknowingly, and they don't know each other,
right,
starts to create a hero in a person. And then maybe that there's multiple kids that can do this, kind of like Danny's not the only one that can shine.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it would start out where like the kid draws his brain and the guy falls asleep, and the next morning he wakes up and all of a sudden he's seeing life in a completely different way. Something is different, something has changed. And now life, he can feel it. There's a positivity to his life now that he can't really explain. Right. And like colors are different, and positivity is just radiating out of everywhere in his life, and his mental state is aggressively changing for the good. Right. But then I was also thinking like it'd be cool like maybe if like, because it comes through as from the child's imagination, that maybe he's capable of like seeing and doing things that other people can't do, like possibly like seeing into other dimensions and seeing into other realities, because his mind is no longer a human realistic mind, but a mind of creation, of a child's creativity. Yeah. And so I was thinking, that the brain thing would be the first thing that kind of happens. Yeah. But then also it could kind of continue. I don't know necessarily exactly how, like maybe the kid also draws a dude with like, buff arms or something like that. Yeah. And the guy wakes up and all of a sudden he doesn't necessarily have huge buff arms, but all of a sudden he's like physically stronger than he was the day before, and he can do things like I hate to be stereotypical about this, but like let's say hypothetically a hero situation, he lifts a car off a kid on a bike, or is able to save someone's life in ways that other people can't necessarily do through this unknown strength he's now received. Right. And has no clue where he got it, and the kid has no clue that this is happening to a person. This kid is just, color time. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. So, and then, or like same thing with like legs. All of a sudden this guy can run faster than he's ever ran before, faster than anybody he knows, faster than anybody, kind of like that. Right. So I'm not really sure how I kind of want to, because I've been thinking about this might be something that's good enough to actually try to actually, whether it be a short story or there's, like there can be like one book is the one kid and his, and then it kind of continues on to like maybe it happens to another pair of child and man in a different country, et cetera, or someone discovers that there are these children that possess this kind of power, I guess you could call it. Or maybe it's not a power, maybe it's just, I don't, like I'm still kind of tossing around how to solidify the idea. Right. But that's kind of...
Like, do the kid and the guy ever meet? Or
that's also another thing that could happen.
Right.
Whether they meet and they don't know it, like they meet and they still don't know that they're affecting each other's lives.
Right.
Or that they do, like maybe he starts to like see images of the child in some way, and that's so the only way he's starting to be able to explain it. So he goes looking for him, and
so like even the kid's like oblivious.
Totally. His parents are oblivious. The kid's oblivious
to just, like this power that he has.
Yeah, and not only the power he has, but what is happening.
Right.
So the whole kind of concept basically is about, like, the kind of message behind it, I guess you would say, is kind of like not only how amazing childhood creativity is,
right,
but how childhood creativity could be the answer to so many problems in the world today, and that if we kind of maybe just not only acted like children, but listened to children more, and kind of take things back, a little bit,
take some time,
not be so serious about life,
right?
That certain things start to happen where things get better, it's also kind of like a dream concept in the sense that, like, not like a save the world type thing, but no. So it's like, I don't know if I want to, like, if it's like all of a sudden this guy is like a superhero, like this kid through his imagination and his drawings turns this guy into a full-on fucking superhero,
right?
And all of a sudden he's like saving the world or doing whatever he can to save whoever he can, and right. I don't know. So that's kind of the main idea, the main concept behind it. I don't know if I want it to be just as simple as that, or if I want it to be like a transcendent type thing where, like maybe through a child's mind and creativity, we're able to see other planes of existence that like normally can't be seen because this is happening, and that through the ability to do that, things are being solved, world problems are being solved, wars and necessarily, just that kind of thing.
Right.
What do you think?
No, it's good, man. Like I think you got something.
But it would be hopefully basic and not as complicated enough to where even in real life a younger child could either read it, have read to them, and then kind of actually grasp the concept of what it is.
Right. Here's a scenario. Like I'm trying to paint a picture that gives it like kind of an introduction.
Yeah.
Like we could even start out with a kid. Like maybe it's something that he's learning.
And this is a young child too, not like a 5-year-old kid.
5-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you see something on television, right? That like maybe it's a little bit too advanced for him, but he's like interested. Maybe it's about the brain, and so he's like, it's something that he's like thinking about, and so he, for instance, is on a bus. Like with his mom or something. And so he draws this image of the brain because he was just like, that was something I just saw. So I want to draw it.
Yeah, it's, fresh in his mind. He's interested in the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so cut or pan, rather, to some guy that's also on the bus, that's down on his luck. Like he's doing the grind, working. His car broke down. That's why he's on the bus. He has to take the bus. This kid sees, maybe he notices him. Like the guy's just like, oh, that's a cool drawing. He's like, keep it going, kid. but like this kid like sees that this dude is really sad inside, like very melancholy, you know, and like maybe the kid like draws like kind of like an outline of the man, you know, like it's like a profile, and then it's like but the guy's got the brain now, like he draws like a profile around the brain.
No, I totally get it. Yeah,
and so later on, that's when things switch. And then and like the guy thinks nothing of it, you know, he doesn't realize that like that brain that he saw that kid draw like that.
Yeah, he's not making the connection.
Yeah, right away.
Yeah. And
then, but things are fucking strange, you know, like he's like, I don't know why is this happening to me? What is going on? But it is making him happier. It's helping him.
Yeah.
You know, and then maybe he takes the bus again, you know, and then like, you know, he notices that kid drawing, and then at some point, and then he's just like, oh, what are you drawing? And he's like, oh, you know, just drawing my guy, you know, and then like sees him doing something, and then later on, like he has that impulse to do what that drawing was. You know?
Yeah.
And so then it's just like, then that's when he figures out the connection of like, holy shit, this kid's like drawing the things that I'm doing now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, like I know that kind of simplifies it to the point where like you know, he figures it out pretty quick, or maybe he doesn't figure it out that quick. Like maybe we're seeing the kid, you know, drawing. He hasn't noticed it for a while. You know, like he knows that like things are going crazy. Like I can fucking fly now, you know, or I can do like all this crazy shit, and I have no idea that I'm like how I'm being able to do these things.
Yeah.
You know? And then it's not until like later on that like he comes across that kid drawing again, and then does the thing that the kid was drawing, and then it clicks.
Yeah.
And that could be like the first act, the end of the first act, because like, you know, for that first 25 minutes or so, like things are just going good for him, but crazy, you know? And then it's also like he goes back on the bus, and now the kid's gone, you know? And so that whole second act is like working up to the point where like, I gotta find this kid, all this crazy stuff's happening. Then maybe something like a bad drawing happens, and now like he's dealing with something bad, like it's or something sad, because like kids draw sad things too. And so like maybe that takes it to a new direction where like, well, maybe like something might be horrible happening to this kid because of what I'm, you know, living out right now, because I'm living out what this kid sees and what this kid's drawing. And then like I need to help this kid out, and then that gives him more motivation to even find this kid, because, you know, something might be bad happening, you know, emotionally with this child.
But see, and
maybe this kid is looking for a hero. Like,
it's almost like you're kind of like saying like they start to have like a telepathic.
Well, technically they are, like from the very beginning, that there's a connection between them, and that and like the kid is literally drawing the things that this guy can do now, and what is happening to him, you know?
Yeah.
How he sees life, how he's seeing it through like this this child prism, you know? Childlike prism, you know? So
yeah.
But of course it's like even more advanced, because it's like the imagination of a child. It's like for instance, where you're saying that he can see into like these other dimensions, but these dimensions are created by this child. And so, like, he's creating worlds.
Right.
That only he can see and only he can, like, interact with because the child thought of them.
Yeah. So, you know how they did that study where they showed how, like how a young child, like, draws birds? And how, like, an adult draws birds, and an adult just goes like that. And then a child draws, like, a really fucking awesome, crazy-looking bird that you would never see in real life.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you ever seen
with
that?
Lots of colors and stuff like that.
Yeah. But it's, like, way more creative,
Well, better. Yeah, because they focus on, like, all the feathers, and they're focusing on, like, you know, like, all the different colors the bird could be,
right?
And, like, that, like, oh, the bird could have, like, these big talons, or like, oh, the bird could have, like, these huge wings, or maybe this bird, like, has, like, a giant tail or something.
Yeah. Basically, what I'm saying is the non-affected mind.
Right.
So I kind of like more of the concept, which I'm not.
Right. I like
it to be more like a phenomena, like it's a worldwide thing, and not necessarily just a one singular personal story.
Right. But that's where we can get to that in the third act, where this is happening in more places than one. And then that's like, that can be like your fourth act, basically, because fourth act means like a continuation. That's like a lot of comic books and stuff like that are all structured under 4 acts, because like you have the fourth act is the cliffhanger. It's all the lead up to the next story. So, because there is a resolution, which is the end of the third act, but but here's what's next. Here's what's going to happen. So you can always have that, like, kind of cliffhanger that, like, this is happening to more people than one. That this burst of imagination, and the extremes that are happening to people from a child's perspective. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, I was just trying to ground it. I was just trying to give it kind of like a structure to it, to so that there's this oblivious connection between the boy and the man, and then him seeking out because he finds the connection. But then, of course, the child's gone from where he knows him from, which is the bus ride. So this child could be anywhere because he doesn't know where this kid got on or got off, and so there's like an even more emotional connection because he knows something's wrong with this child, because he can see it through this child's eyes. And so that's what, like, even puts it puts a clock. I'm not sure if ticking time. If the back part is something that well, that's why I'm like saying that there's more of like imperil type of situation with him finding this child. I mean, it's kind of more supposed to be like a what if concept, and not as much of like a sci-fi-ish kind of thing. Right. Do you like? I don't really know how to explain it besides the fact that like it's almost discovered on a planetary level. Right. Which you're right, because you do, no matter what, you kind of do have to start. You kind of have to make the simplicity to the start of a story. Right. Because then you don't get to know characters or how it all fits. Yeah. Right. Like that's why. But the supreme innocence, right, is what the main idea is, and I think even the kid on the bus
might be a little bit too, not necessarily too old, but already receives too much to change. Like he's almost maybe too old enough to be affected by outside things, whereas a kid who's much younger than that isn't.
Right. But, young kids do deal with trauma, even at a young age, that affect them in all different kinds of ways. So, and, maybe they suppress it, but it's something that they have to deal with at some point. And it also depends on how good of a memory that person has, even though they're only 4 years old. Maybe they could go on to remember things more than most people. It's kind of crazy because my stepson, he says that he doesn't really remember things when he was young. It didn't stick. But I can remember when I was 3 years old. I can remember my first memory.
Yeah, I remember pretty young too.
Because that was the question that my mom asked me, was what do you think your first memory is? And then I said, my first the first thing that I can remember is being in water. And then my mom freaked out because she said that when I was 1.5, we lived in Puerto Rico, and so I was a water baby. I would swim to my mom and then swim back to my dad and stuff like that. And so that was the first image, first memory that comes to mind. And so she kind of freaked out that I can think back that far. And I can kind of my brother's really good at it too. He can, it's insane what he can remember and the detail behind it. And I don't know, it's wild. It's wild that, everything is so clear.
But your stepson not so much?
Yeah. He's just I played outside. He just doesn't really have a connection with things. I also think that he had friends, but I don't think he had really best friends. Where he really shared moments and stuff. But I don't know. Maybe he's just it's just not. Some people grow up pretty quick. They're just it didn't really mean anything. It was just
certain situations.
Yeah, it's just I played with kids.
Yeah,
that's all I remember.
Yeah,
or because Tennille, my wife, she'll just be oh, do you remember this time? Do you remember this guy? Blah blah blah. He stopped by and whatever. He used to watch you, and he'd be I don't know. And then she'd be oh, well, he used to watch you. He used to play with you. Blah blah blah. And he's just okay. It doesn't stick. He's got more things that he focuses on, more memories of other stuff that he's just that's what I want to remember. But some people it's it's so vivid, and some people it's not.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's weird what we can remember. Memory's a weird thing.
I kind of wonder if it's whether it sticks thing or whether he just kind of doesn't necessarily engage his mind that way.
Like the child?
No, your stepson.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't think about it.
Yeah.
He'd rather just be I don't remember.
Yeah. Or just doesn't want to think about it.
That's kind of what I mean.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe he literally.
Because I don't know. Sometimes people you ask about their past.
Because you're right. There are people who do not. But I'm you.
Retain.
I don't think I remember.
Memories.
I was on the beach when I was a very young child, like not even 2.
Yeah.
I've said I kind of remember that, but I don't know if I officially really do.
Like maybe it was pictures that you saw that where you were like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and like I could kind of, like I remember the outfit that I was in.
Okay.
Like I feel like I remember that, but more than likely I didn't. I mean, I do remember like birthdays from when I was like 3.
Yeah.
I also was not an ocean water baby, but I swam very early in age.
Yeah.
Because we grew up with a pool, and my dad, we were swimming, I was swimming at like 2, 3 years old.
Yeah.
So I remember being in the pool a lot. I remember our first dog, and I was really, 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 really young. I don't even think my sister was born yet at that time. But to be able to remember stuff when you're like below 2, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, man. And so,
but there are people out there,
dude. Like I remember living in upstate New York. I remember.
You were a little bit older then, right?
Well, I was like 3.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So, and I remember their next door neighbor, their dog Coco, which was a German Shepherd. He was very protective. He was like our babysitter, basically. He would like stay out in the yard area and watch us and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And things like that where you're just like I remember my mom being surprised that I remembered Coco and like remembering his name and everything. It was just like, you guys were like 2, 3, like how do you remember that? And we're like, he was the next door neighbor's dog,
Yeah.
He was the friendliest dog I knew.
Yeah.
He made me trust dogs. And then unfortunately when I was 7, a German Shepherd fucking tore me to shreds, and I literally almost lost the like my leg,
Damn, that bad?
Yeah. They said that like if it would have been like 3 millimeters,
he would have got
he would have got right into like my knee, and I probably would have lost the lower part of my leg.
So he mauled you?
Yeah, dude. He was a retired German Shepherd police dog.
Oh, I was gonna say he just retired from being a German Shepherd. You know what? I'm done.
But he was
a dog.
But there was just something wrong with that dog. He knew.
Some dogs when they get older, like my dog Paco.
Yeah.
Do you remember Paco? Chocolate Lab.
No.
He went fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Just he got old, and sometimes labs.
Yeah.
Some of them, when they get a certain age, they just
lose it.
Yep.
Yeah, man, it's weird. Because like maybe there's
something happens to them. It's kind of very similar to like people who have
Alzheimer's
and dementia.
Dementia.
How they become like total like assholes.
Right.
And they'll treat everybody like they don't mean to do it.
Right.
But just the connections in their mind and their chemical balances are just way too crazy.
Yeah, and they're just confused.
Yeah.
And so they just act out.
Yep.
So.
And I think the same exact thing happens to dogs.
Yeah. So.
Not all dogs, but.
But yeah, that dog, I was young. We knew that dog was our next door neighbor's dog, and he was a retired police officer. Ooh. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, now we can hear again.
Sorry, dude.
No. All right. And so we knew that he was a retired police dog, and he was a retired cop, and we knew that he barked at us whenever we get kind of close to the back door and stuff like that, because that was back when we nobody had fences. Nobody was fenced in.
Yeah.
It was just green grass everywhere, and so I don't know, man. I remember. I think it was right after I got attacked. Then we got a fence, man. And so
especially back east, Midwest.
Yeah. So
my grandparents Like you could run down the whole block through people's backyards.
Yeah.
Not Arizona though.
Yeah, no. But it's, at some point, you can't be so innocent. Like you gotta kind of like not trust everything. And I think that was like the first time that I was just like, dogs can be mean, Mm-hmm. But you learn pretty hard.
Yeah, and unfortunately, sometimes when that happens, it kind of scars you.
Yeah, and
of all dogs.
Right. No, and luckily it didn't do that for me.
Yeah.
Like I just knew to be cautious.
Mm-hmm.
But
you just gotta be wary of unfriendly dogs.
Yeah, like you gotta just look for the signs.
Yeah. Well, like you said, you gotta be cautious.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, I really think you got something. Like I don't mean to like try to structure what you kind of came up with.
What's funny is this girl that I've been talking to. Yeah. Hopefully, we might start dating.
Oh, awesome.
Her name is Cassie. You like her a lot. We have a lot in common. So we're going to see, the 40th anniversary of Alien.
Oh, sweet.
It's happening this week.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're going to go see that on Wednesday.
Is that the first time you guys are meeting up, or?
First time, like first date, but we've met before. She's actually a nurse.
Oh, nice.
And first time so we've been talking to each other for a couple of years.
Okay.
Online.
Okay.
Like it's like she knows other people, and she's like one of those, she, is friends with Brian and knows the meat puppets and stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, I forgot what I was...
Well, you were saying...
Oh, yeah,
so... Like, did you tell her about the idea?
Yeah, I told her about the idea, and she kind of had like a similar idea, a little bit different that you have, where she was saying something to the effect of maybe there's a kid that finds an old drawing pad book in like a secondhand store that has like all these unfinished figures in it, and then he takes it home and starts filling in with his imagination into the figures, and then those
start to come to life.
Yeah, or manifest somehow in some way, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And even, I was like, oh, well, that sounds like that kid is probably a little bit older than the one I'm thinking about. But
yeah.
But anyway, that's the concept.
Yeah. No, I really dig it, man. I think you got something. And thank you for sharing it.
Yeah. Glad you liked it.
Yeah. I hope that, at some point you tell me, you got it. You figured it out, you cracked the code. Because a lot of this stuff, like, I'm just pitching ideas, like a dream or something like that, like a concept, that, I don't know. Like, I don't necessarily want to develop it or anything. There's always the possibility of it, but...
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to start putting it on paper. Cause,
yeah, you should, man.
Even that movie, Where Dreams May Come.
Yeah.
Kind of almost even maybe dreams could be a part of it. Like let's say the guy goes to sleep, he dreams something that's different or whatever, and then the next day he wakes up and, like I said, he's seeing the world much differently, and maybe this just starts to randomly kind of happen around the entire world.
Yeah.
Nobody can really explain it, but maybe in the story people do figure it out.
Right.
Who knows? I mean, there's endless possibilities.
Right. Because we're talking about how children see the world.
Yes.
And how they can better it.
Yeah,
and what they would hope to see.
Innocence is almost like the very key to it all. When you haven't been jaded or affected by general life yet.
And that's another reason why I started this podcast, was because, like, the older we get, the less creative we are.
Yep.
And so I wanted to come up with an idea where we just talk about ideas.
Well, that's something that I actually... It's so cool that you have this, and I can almost say that, like, I appreciate it because, you get ideas like this, and normally you would just be like, oh, that's cool. And then, you either write it off or you don't do anything with it, and next thing you know, you forget it.
Right.
But then I go, oh, this is a cool idea.
Yeah.
I should call Dirk. Maybe this is something that we could do on this. There's an outlet to at least record it forever.
Right.
To get it down somewhere, somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just, that's also another thing too, is that I think everybody has a story.
Yeah. It's not hard.
Yeah. Dude, we have like crazy dreams all the time. Sometimes we don't remember our dreams, but sometimes we do.
Oh, even just a simple thing that happens to you in a random day.
Yeah, where you feel like there could be a concept behind it.
That's also
to tell a story.
A great thing about stories is you get to play with it. You get to build it.
Right.
It's like combining Play-Doh and Legos at once.
Right.
And that's like the fun part to it. It's like not only do you get to paint a painting, but you get all these different colors.
Yeah.
That you get to use with it. And all these different brushes.
And that's what I love about doing the posters and stuff. And coming up with imagery.
What I like about that is it makes it like a hard reality. It makes it like an official... kind of like, hey, you're not crazy. Look at this poster.
Yeah, it gives like a physical representation.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, man, I'm working on Luster's right now, and it's pretty fun. So.
Yeah, I gotta listen to that one.
Yeah,
I'm probably gonna listen to that either tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah. So, I haven't released his pitch yet because.
Oh, so okay, all right, yeah. I think I saw that.
But I think that then. Like within the next 2 days.
How many do you have now?
So I'm almost about to hit 30. So.
Oh shit! I thought it was gonna be more than that actually.
Yeah. Well, I took a long break, man.
Yeah, but
with my job.
So, but at your peak, you were doing like what, 2 a month, 3 months?
Well, it's always 2 a month. I think the only time I did it 3.
You mean one person a month?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've had where it was 2 guests on, like when with you and Matt, and then I did it with Birdie and Scum, and so that would span 2 months.
Yeah.
So, but it's always, that's what I initially wanted it to be, 2 episodes a month, because it's a 2-parter.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and then it gives me 2 weeks to come up with an idea for a piece of artwork.
I randomly came across Scum's Facebook page.
Yeah,
I think last night or today.
Yeah,
that guy's got a lot of pictures of porno stars.
Yeah, man.
I was like, Jesus Christ. Well, how many avians have you been to, dude?
Like, yeah, well, when you work at a porno, store for...
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he worked for Castle Boutique, man, for years.
Now that makes sense.
And then he became like a manager. And so he was...
Yeah, they would have like guest appearances and stuff.
Yeah, well, because they always had booths and stuff at all the porn
trade shows and stuff.
Yeah, trade shows. And so he was always there. And then that's when he got to know people. He told me that he has Ron Jeremy's number. He gives him a call every once in a while.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a picture of Gianna Michael. She was... Growing up, she was one of my favorites. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. He knows Belladonna.
Yeah, she's the one that's all tattooed, right?
Yeah. And I used to have the hugest crush on her. And it was like crazy. Like she was in Inherent Vice, that Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. she's in a big movie.
Yeah, she's been in a few movies.
Yeah. It's just kind of wild.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so. Well, cool, man.
Well, all right, dude.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Again.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, and I hope you're writing down, man. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope you crack it, and I can hear what comes of it.
Yeah. Well, now that
read what comes of it.
Yeah, totally.
So.
Totally.
Well, cool, man. Thanks again,
buddy. No problem. Anytime. Thank you.
That was a good episode.
Yeah, totally.